We do have a quorum. The prayer will be led by Alderman No, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be by Patrick Dowdy. Everyone please rise for the prayer and the pledge.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening asking you, Lord, that you will put some incredible strength and power into our doctors and our scientists around the country to help get rid or at least control this pandemic. Lord, we ask you that you give this board the knowledge and encouragement this evening to make the right decisions for our city. And these things we ask, Lord Jesus Christ, your Son. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is to approve the minutes from the June 2nd, 2020 public hearing, June 2nd, 2020 regular meeting, June 23rd, 2020 public hearing, and June 23rd, 2020 special meeting.
Make a motion to accept as submitted.
A motion to accept as submitted from Alderman Jones. Need a second?
A second.
Second from Vice Mayor Brown. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes pass. Moving on to presentations. Chanel, could you join me, please?
Yes.
So, everyone, this is Shermel. She recently hosted and organized the very first Juneteenth celebration here in LaVergne. And for that, for trying to bring this community together in a way that they haven't experienced before, the City of LaVergne presents to you a certificate of recognition for your dedication to the betterment of the City of LaVergne and the efforts to bring conversation and celebration to the Juneteenth holiday.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Jim.
Great job.
Can you just go back out this way?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Where is Chief Walker? You could help me for just a minute. This next one that we're going to do is a certificate of appreciation. Quite a bit overdue. Throughout the holiday season, we do different things with different organizations, but we had someone step up over that time frame. Chief, can you kind of go through a little bit of that?
I will. We always go with different groups. Of course, you know, we do our Christmas for kids and seniors. And we were out working and going with some Rock Springs Middle School and some Smyrna West teachers. And we went to a house here in LaVergne, and we finally found the actual location where a mother and two children and her brother, the mother's brother, lived. And they were non-English speaking, but we went there and realized then that there was absolutely almost nothing in the house. No furniture, a few pots and pans, very little food, mattresses in 2 bedrooms, and other than that, that was it. And we learned more about them, and then a young man that works with us by the name of David Vega went with me on the following day, and we were able to communicate very well. And one thing led to another. We had gone to an event here that was being hosted by a group that's here in the room, and Several people looked at Vicki and looked at me and said, "What's wrong? Are you all okay?" No, we had just left that location. And we shared what we had seen and heard and found out. And we talked almost everybody there, a lot of the folks that are in the room here tonight, to be honest with you. And one thing led to another, and a young man started posting on Facebook and stepped up, stepped out, volunteered, and ran all over LaVergne picking up furniture and food and clothes and everything else. And it was awesome. And because of the help of a lot of people, and especially that young man that kind of spearheaded and worked very hard to pick it up, the mayor has more to say.
Christopher Buck, can you come on up here, please? This gentleman not only worked with that family, but steps up and volunteers throughout the community. So the city of LaVergne wants to extend to you a certificate of appreciation, Christopher Buck, for going above and beyond to help out a local family and this community who is in need this holiday season. So, congratulations, sir.
There's one more thing you need to know. There was a truckload that was collected. There was a large trailer, what was it, a 16-foot, 18-foot trailer? Pretty good size.
I think it was 16-foot, yeah.
16-foot. It was packed full, and that, along with others within the community who had helped that family, the one thing that hit me the hardest was when this little 8th grade girl, who was tiny, said a Christmas tree, and Mama had said, we can put it on that table. No, honey, you can't. That's a 6-foot tree somebody got you. But that's what it was all about, and there was even an additional load or so that was taken after that as well, that people donated. That's our community here in LaVergne. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are. This community comes together and does for others, and that's why I love my community.
Absolutely, Chief. So, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Buck.
Now, this last one is one that we do each year. And it's one that I started coming in as mayor, and it's our Citizen of the Year. It takes in a lot of different things throughout, looking at the community, looking at what's going on. So this year, we were a little delayed due to COVID and getting this out. But Melissa Joyner, can you join me, please? Now, what y'all don't know about Melissa Joyner is she helps out all throughout this community. She has, throughout the holiday season, brought people together. Throughout the spring and fall, has rejuvenated our Little League baseball and softball and t-ball leagues. She has spearheaded the Citizens Police Academy alumni group to provide an extra level of support, as well as to bring in new people so they can understand what's going on in this community. So with that said, the city of LaVergne recognizes you as a Citizen of the Year for all your hard work, volunteerism to help with the betterment of the city of LaVergne, from working with the Tennessee Strikers to ensure that any child who wants to play baseball or softball has an opportunity to do so, and for your work with the FOP and with the CPA and everything you do throughout the holidays to bring joy to families all across this community.
And Mr. Mayor, all of my board members for the senior citizens is really good. Melissa has always been, since she come aboard with the seniors, she's always been there to volunteer and help.
Next, can we have Mr. Ronnie Beasley come forward? And we've got family of his that's gonna come up as well. I'm starting it all over. So, if your family wants to come up here behind you and join you, they can. As well as the men and women with the fire department. We've got a few here.
Just a few.
There you go. There you go. These are his other children. This is his orphanage.
Okay. If you would please raise your right hand. I, Thomas Ronald Beasley,
I, Thomas Ronald Beasley,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of Fire Chief
the duties of the office of Fire Chief
of the city of LaVergne, Tennessee,
of the city of LaVergne, Tennessee,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and the laws
of the state of Tennessee
of the state of Tennessee
and the charter and ordinances
and the charter and ordinances
of the city of LaVergne.
of the city of LaVergne.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir. Let me lift it on.
Everyone, our new fire chief.
Thank you. There you go. Thank you, sir.
Good-looking family, Chief.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Was that engine company wanting?
Sir?
You got enough for an engine company? Yes, everybody.
Moving on to our departmental reports. Chief Beasley, you're up first.
Oh. And get my seat.
Follow yourself, that's hard to do.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor,
Turn the microphone towards you.
sir.
Turn the microphone towards you.
No, thank you. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, I appreciate the opportunity to present today. Being my first meeting sworn in as a chief officer. Just the last 2 weeks, I've had the opportunity to be within the city, driving the city streets, and have been flagged down by citizens that obviously I didn't know, that recognized me and welcomed me here. Makes me understand that I've made a really good decision, or my wife and I made a good decision to move our family here. So thank you. Y'all have all got the stats that were provided for you, correct? So is there any questions about that? The only thing that I see out of the norm is the water usage for this past month. That was a spike due to the annual fire plug flushing. So that's within the norms for this type of year. You have any other questions about that?
Thank you, sir.
All right, I got two items to mention. We just finalized our new hire candidates list this week. We got about 45 applicants. We completed the validation of our physical agility test today. So we'll be looking forward to making a test here very soon, in the next week or two, I hope. And then we also have a posting for the deputy fire chief that is active currently and should close very soon. And we'll be working through hiring a deputy fire chief. The title's been changed from assistant chief to deputy chief. So, got any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Police Department, Chief Walker.
There's one thing you have there. There was another thing that I had to try to work on today because it's been wild and woolly, but within your packet there, I wanted you to see for the last 3 years, people want to know about our crime in the city. And our Group A crimes that have been reported have dropped. And of course, they're down a little bit this year too, but so are calls for service for the time being right now anyway, especially since near the end of March when everything changed so greatly. But you can see there's some pretty good numbers there. There's some that we're not proud of, but of the 4 murders that we had, there were 3 of them that were cleared by arrest. And the other one is still the young man who was driving in an apartment area, not on a city street as such, was shot at apparently multiple times by someone else, and the passenger ran away from the scene because he was scared to death and trying to get away, but the young man was shot and didn't make it through the night. And I'm sure you remember that one. But the problem there is no one saw who did what. I don't believe that statement, but we have not had anyone whatsoever that would be willing to step up. And I'd ask you to keep that in your prayers, that somebody will have the stamina and the willpower and the guts to step up eventually so that we can try to do something with that case too. Our calls for service January through June are down this year compared to last year, about 6,000, 5,900 or so. Our June numbers in and of itself are down about 700 for fiscal year 18-19 versus 19-20, which would be a full 1 year period of time. They were down almost 6,000, about 5,800. And then April through June, I pulled that out specifically because April is when we got full-blown into and hot and heavy with COVID-19. And through the end of June, still climbing numbers. But our total calls for service had dropped about 3,000. Now, some of them are not necessarily that low. There are some that are elevated and still happening as usual: overdoses, domestics, mental health issues, so on and so forth. But some of those calls for service we anticipate during events such as this. Any questions?
Chief, can you talk to us about remind us about the 9 p.m. routine?
Yes. Yes, because over and over and over, all across this nation, you have law enforcement agencies talking about the 9 p.m. routine. Do y'all know what that is? What about you all? You know what it is? Yes. You need to read our Facebook every now and then, our department Facebook every now and then. 9 p.m., be sure you've got everything out of your car, all the valuables. It's parked, locked up. Take the valuables in the house. Lock your doors and your windows to protect your property, because so many of the crimes that we have involving vehicles are not breaking in. It's simply pulling on a door handle, opening. We still have a high number of weapons that are stolen out of vehicles that are unlocked. Phones, purses, wallets, you name it. All kinds of valuable things, for sure. So we want everybody to get in the habit, the 9 p.m. routine. Now, if you like, some folks in our city, kind of like Alderman know, if you go to bed about 7 o'clock every night or somewhere thereabouts, then you might want to do it at 7 instead of waiting until 9. But whenever you go to bed, be sure you've got that done so they won't come through. And folks, if you see a crime, please don't wait 15 minutes, 30 minutes tomorrow to report it. Please call us and give us information. Please don't post it on Facebook. Please don't put it on any social media. Pick the phone up. If it's an emergency, dial 911 if somebody's life's in danger or serious bodily injury could happen with whatever's occurring. If it's not an emergency, then call our non-emergency number, 615-793-7744, please.
Chief, that reminds me, I'm glad you said that. I've been meaning to ask you for a while. A lot of people don't know the non-emergency number. I mean, they just, for one reason or another, we can sit here and debate why they don't or whatever. But I noticed that Smyrna has got their non-emergency phone number on the back of their vehicles. Is that something that you've considered at one point, or?
Maybe it's adding more money for the markings on the car. I don't know if they're going to get it from the car any more than they're going to get it from social media or our website. It's published. It's all over everything we got, and we have all kinds of handouts we do. That'd cost us a little more money for the graphics to be added.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that was anything that you had ever, I mean.
Well, a lot of people still put 911 on the car, and in today's world, that's a waste, in my opinion, because we do so many things with children. We start with little ones. Unfortunately, sometimes they do call.
Well, 911's a lot easier to remember than
It is.
615s,
Yeah, well, you don't have to dial 615 unless you're somewhere else, but if you're here, all you gotta do is 793-7744.
Really, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you always had to dial the
No.
area code.
No.
I thought they changed all that.
That's because you came from that 5-something another area
Yeah.
code, didn't you?
562,
562,
I won't disagree.
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the impact on the domestic violence since everyone's been home and a lot of people are out of work? I would really appreciate that.
Well, I think there are a lot of things that are involved there with a whole lot of things, to be honest with you, with some of the mental health issues and some of the chemical dependency issues we've seen. The stress is great. For some people, it's one thing or another, or this or that. It may be a job or a job that they can't go to now, or a job they can't go to work and they're at home, or they have children. They have issues where they're worrying about feeding their children, feeding themselves, paying the rent, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of things are really causing pressure on various people for whatever reasons, and then sometimes it's just simply the fear of the bug. But we see, like we do as certain holidays, Thanksgiving's one, Christmas is another, where we see an uptick in those kinds of calls. And unfortunately, some people who have some of those things all put together, including a chemical of some sort, whether it's ETOH or an illegal substance or even one that's been prescribed, then something happens and here you go, and they call us and we intervene. And unfortunately, like some people would like us to do, it doesn't matter what they do. If you shift funds from our budget to another agency, they're going to be calling us to go too, because when they get there, they're going to be yelling because there's going to be fighting going on. So, and that's just one thing I had to say about that part of some of the things going on in today's world. Defunding is not a solution, but we need to go back and fund what was cut many years ago for that mental health assistance that we all need out there, whether it's us, whether it's fire, because fire has to go too, because usually an EMS unit's called, and fire's going to be going. And we all wind up being there no matter what. But one quick one, and I'll shut up. In the fall, a couple of years ago, we had second shift officers who received a call. It was a female who was threatening suicide and had a weapon. When our young folks got there, they intervened and were able to talk her down, and she was transported to Stonecrest. They called in the crisis intervention team, or the CIT. Mental health professionals and medical professionals too are part of that team. They said, you all can go ahead and go back, and we'll handle it from here. The next afternoon, most of the same folks were working second shift again. And a call came out. Female with a weapon, threatening suicide. And they gave the address, and one of the young officers said, "Dispatch, isn't that the same address we were at yesterday afternoon?" And they said, "Yes, it is." Before they could get to it, she had already succeeded in what she had set out to do. It's kind of difficult, whether it's young firefighters, whether it's young police officers, young paramedics, EMTs. It's awful difficult to sit and look at them and say, you did your job, because they did do their jobs. They got her to help the day before, but for whatever reason, that part of the process failed. And unfortunately, it fails every single day in our community, in our county, in our state, in our country. Because so many times, those funds are taken away or the facilities aren't available. And unfortunately, in today's world, I'll say it, if you don't have the dollars, there's no room in the end. And therein lies a whole lot of the problem, because so many people need help but cannot get it. Anything else?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Codes Department, Randolph Salyers.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. The monthly report for June 2020, I'll sum it up roughly to say that we did 24 single-family dwelling permits at a sum total of nearly $4 million, right at $4 million. Plumbing permits, single-family dwelling permits were in line with the number of single-family dwellings. We did one commercial project at $1.24 million. The total building permits for the month were 45. Fee was $26,147 we collected June 2020. The building inspections for the month were 412. The total monthly revenue with impact fees were $64,200. Year-to-date total with impact fees, permit fees of $320,000. Our year-to-date totals, we had 80 total single-family permits issued year-to-date, 65 this same time last year. We're just moving right along, expecting more and more. As we see what comes before the Planning Commission, we know that sooner or later there's going to be permits to follow. So, any questions?
Where are we at with this, and this may be a you question, or Evan, where are we at with that impact fee study?
That will be coming before the board most likely next month. The gentleman who does the study usually does a presentation with it, and has had some concerns with his safety for traveling with the coronavirus. So we are working out whether he does some individual presentations with each one of us, or whether he might do a teleconference during the board meeting, or how we might do that. We're still working that out.
Okay, I didn't know who to ask. You just made me think of it.
Well, Adam has been lead on that more so than I.
Oh, okay.
But, yes, sir, it is in the final stages, wrapping it up, ready to present to the board.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to Parks and Recreation Department, David McGowan.
Mayor, Vice Mayor Board, thank you. You've got the parks numbers for the month. See, we don't have a whole lot up there. Senior Center is still closed at least through the end of August at this point. Football's kind of in the same thing. They're kind of non-contact drills between now and the end of August. See some of our projects we completed this past month. Tennis courts are done. They are open. Basketball courts finished up today. We still have not put the goals back on them. We are still waiting for the go-ahead through the Tennessee Pledge. July 4th, that was this past Saturday. I'd like to thank Pyro Shows, the Missy Garnett Band, and the 8 food vendors, including the Senior Center. Any questions?
Not so much question, but first off, the tennis courts look great.
Yes, sir.
I was out there looking at that. And then our Independence Day celebration went wonderfully. People were able to spread out. You didn't see large clusters of people throughout. All except for that sudden storm that rose up at the very end. It was great, and people even stuck around right after that to
Yep.
see the fireworks going off.
And I probably need to give a big shout out to the parks and maintenance crews for helping people vacate the field. Once that storm hit, it hit pretty quickly. So they were trying to get everybody to safety. We turned the lights back on the football field. We generally leave them out throughout the whole fireworks show. Got some people upstairs at the press box. Once it got ugly pretty quick. Any questions?
No, again, comments just to follow up with what both of you said. Man, y'all did a great job. It was extremely well planned out. The pickleball courts, basketball, everything's looking good, and I can't say enough thanks for what you've done down at the Senior Center with the new freezer and the way you all put that in there and stuff. So we're looking forward to the other ones. My understanding are going out there. So
Yes, sir. Yeah.
hopefully, I mean, who knows, by the end of August, who knows?
Right.
We'll wait and see.
One other thing on July 4th, I know a lot of people weren't sure we could pull it off or how we were going to pull it off. I would like to give thanks to the citizens that came out because they did social distance
Yes, they did.
themselves. We had signage up, hand sanitizers, but they did an amazing job of keeping the distance, and I think everybody enjoyed themselves. So, thank you guys for letting us do that.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you. Finance Department, Ms. Phyllis Rogers.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Alderman, Vice Mayor. You have the May report in front of you. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer anything. The Finance Department, we are knee-deep into year-end audit. We've already had auditors with us several days. We've gotten a lot of the preliminary audit done and be trying to close out sometime in 1st of August, and then they'll come back in a couple weeks in August and they'll do some more of their audit work, and then they'll come back again in a few weeks after that. So it's that time of the year. It's pretty much what we're working on right now, just year end.
Well, I know this isn't the year end, but it's always wonderful to see that net income
Yeah.
in the positive.
Yeah, especially with you know, some of the amendments we've done this year, and it doesn't look like we're gonna have to dip into reserves, even though we've spent, you know, had some items on the agenda that we've done budget amendments on. So, we're having a good year, and, you know, sales tax is holding its own. We haven't seen, too big of a decrease in the sales tax. I did see some decrease in the fuel taxes this past month, but overall, our sales taxes is doing really good.
I think that's more from people working from home. You're seeing that a lot where you're not having to
Spending more
drive back
money
and
on
forth.
food, groceries, you know, they're not eating out as much, so we're getting a lot of the sales tax money from different things. Any questions?
Thank you, Phyllis.
Thank you.
Moving on to the library, Ms. Donna Bebout.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, good evening. For the month of June, I know that we are trying to get away a little bit of not just going over all the numbers, but I am so proud of these numbers that I've just got to talk about them a little bit because the library is still closed. The building is closed. The staff has been working. We've been doing a lot of projects. We've been doing a lot of cleaning, but we also have been offering services to our community, and that's called curbside pickup. And this is providing the library items to our patrons. So for the month of June, from the 1st into the 30th, we had 759 items checked out. The library was still closed, but we checked out 759 items. There were 78 e-audiobooks checked out, 14 e-books. And this I'm very proud of. Because we're not doing summer reading, because the library is still closed, our staff got together. They made craft kits for children, teens, and adults. We distributed in the month of June 222 children's craft kits, 46 teen craft kits, 38 crochet kits, and for the website hits, there were 1,886 searches on our website and 858 mobile catalog searches. I think that's pretty good for the building to be closed. Now, if you would like to reserve items so you can take part in our curbside pickup, you can reserve books, DVDs, music CDs, and audiobooks by using our online catalog at catalog.lavernetn.gov, or you can call the library and talk to one of our great staff at 615-793-7303 and press option 2. And patrons may now reserve up to 15 items, and items are checked out for 2 weeks. Some of the projects that we have completed are new floors for the restrooms and the staff kitchen. They look amazing. Really appreciate those floors. Our plexiglass shields are almost finished. They're placed at circulation, reference, and children's desk. We have 5 hand sanitizer stations that are ready to use. And thanks to the stormwater crew for repairing and improving a drainage area behind the library. Now, our library board will meet Monday, July 13th here at City Hall at 5 p.m. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Moving on to the water treatment plant, Mr. Greg Purcell.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board. In the month of June, we treated 128.6 million gallons of water, delivered 103.1 million gallons of water. With our unidirectional flushing, we did 229 sites at 385,000 gallons of water used. We expect the unidirectional flushing to be done mid-July, towards the end of July. Our TOC removal was 57%. Again, the requirement's 15. We're still on track with 3 times better or more. One of the things we pointed out in our report is the safety. At the end of June, we had 4,245 days. That equates to 11.6 years with no recordable incidents or missed days of work. That dates back to when Severn Trent Infomark took over the facility We're very proud of that, and we strive to keep it as safe as we can down there. The Consumer Confidence Report, also known as the Water Quality Report, went out in about mid-June. People should have received it in their water bill, or they will. It's also been put out here at City Hall, the library, and a few other locations. One other thing, lead and copper testing is going to start this month. Only certain homes will be tested. It's based on the year, the type of plumbing fixtures and stuff like that. Invitations have been sent out to those people to respond back, and we'll coordinate with them to get their lead and copper tested. The water tested for lead and copper, excuse me. That's something we do every 3 years. Any questions?
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Public Works Department, Mr. Garland Russell.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Alderman. This is for the month of June. You have all the numbers there. I'll just say we've been busy all month with the brush. I get calls daily on it. You know, we're trying to get that way. We're hoping to get it all caught up by the first snow anyway, but that's how much is out there. The fleet
By the
department-
first of when?
when the first snow. I mean, it's out there. I had some numbers I meant to bring from this year only, not counting what we did in Mount Juliet, and I'd say we did well over 1.5 million pounds up there in 1 week. We've had close to 1 million pounds just this through June. And you know, you see here we had 898 pickups in the month. We're running the 2 trucks 10 hours a day. Talked to them today about maybe working some overtime on it. We hadn't even made it out of Lake Forest yet. And we've been on that for the since we come back to work full time. Any questions?
And just to confirm, that's 319,000 pounds that y'all picked up in June. That's a lot of brush.
It's 2 guys. 2 guys, 2 trucks.
I'm all over the city, especially Lake Forest, and I can tell when they've gone down particular streets. I mean, it's definitely, maybe we'll get through another year or 2 without any storms.
Hey, that's where a lot of it went, and when we were on the COVID, we were out, so, I mean, we're trying to get it caught up. Trying to keep up with the grass, signs, everything. Any questions?
Thank you. Utilities Department, Mr. Michael Dietz.
Mayor, Alderman, good afternoon. For the month of June 2020, Water Department completed a total of 168 work orders. There were 4 mainline repairs, in which 2 of those were found by leak detection. The other 2 was called in by the customer. We completed 23 service line repairs, with 13 of those being actual leaks. The other 10, we went ahead and replaced the neighbor's line while we was on site and had the trench open. There were 17 fire hydrants repaired. Majority of those were turned in by the fire department. On down to the meter and sewer department, pretty typical months with both of those, with the meter department completing 181 work orders and sewer department completing 126. Any questions?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Human Resources. Miss Cheryl Lewis-Smith.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. Here is the Human Resource Report for June 2020. We've had several new hire orientations scheduled, along with agility testing for the police department and preparing and posting newly budgeted positions. In the area of risk management, we've been heavily involved with the insurance renewal for workers' compensation, liability and property and casualty with public entity partners, and processing a variety of claims in the other area as in regard to like lighting issues on the interstate, property damage claims, accidents, workers' compensation claims, and general liability follow-up. We've been heavily involved in participation in virtual HR meetings for both the state and the International Personnel Management Associations, where I serve as the state president for Tennessee. And I also serve on the executive board as a council member for the International Association. So those virtual meetings are COVID-19 related as far as transitioning and helping to get people back into the workplace and to assist them with needs that they have due to the pandemic. And then we're currently working on Title VI activities with various departments for audit purpose and grant-related projects. Are there any questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Moving on to old business, second reading ordinance 2020-05, an ordinance to amend Title VII and Title 12 of the LaVergne Municipal Code and adopt the following standard codes: the 2018 International Building Code, the 2018 International Residential Code, the 2018 International Plumbing Code, the 2018 International Mechanical Code, the 2018 International Fuel Gas Code, the 2018 International Property Maintenance Code, the 2018 International Fire Code, the 2018 NFPA 101 Life Safety Code, the 2018 International Energy Conservation Code, the 2018 International Swimming Pool and Spa Code, the 2018 International Existing Building Code, the 2018 International Private Sewage Disposal Code, the 2017 National Electric Code, and ICCA 117.1-2017, accessible and usable buildings and facilities. Need a motion to approve or deny?
I'd like to, I'd like to have a discussion on it. What was the standard procedure for that? I don't want to approve it right now. What's the procedure for discussion?
You would make a motion to approve and get a second to have a conversation about it, and then a vote.
And then you can rescind that if you're,
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve for discussion.
A second for discussion.
okay. I'll open the floor up for discussion.
I've been getting, I've received some of the information that was asked for in our workshop, The question is to Evan, or the city attorney, are we able to do line item, I don't want to, have to have this ordinance come back, but there are a couple of things in there that need further discussion because of our geographical area and the necessity of it. And I just think that the open board needs more discussion on it. So is there a way that I can put the proper language in that for that reason?
Yes, sir, you can make a motion to approve once, and we can deal with this from a procedural standpoint based on what we've got now, but you can make a motion to adopt with the following changes, or make the motion to adopt but remove whatever section it is that you want to take out.
Okay.
There can also be a motion to approve while tabling specific sections of it, and then basically those sections that are tabled we would basically start from scratch with those, but whatever's not tabled would move forward.
Why would there be so many different codes in this one ordinance put in there like that? I'm just curious.
Well, they're all interrelated to, as far as our building standards. So that's why.
So that group that was here last week, they talked about the building codes for what the state was trying to do, and the gentleman talked about they were members of groups of this group and that group, and it sounded really good. And I specifically asked him just to give me for instance, about a 1,500 square foot home and what the price difference would be with using 2x4s and 2x6s and doing the energy efficient thing. And he said $27,000. Well, I took it upon myself to put some pencil work to that, and I even called some of the distributors, like a lot of people that's been around LaVergne remember J&M Supply. They're in Walter Hill now. So I called them, and The difference in a 6-inch door and a 7.5-inch jamb is $50. So I use 3 doors instead of 2. The difference in the 2x4s and 2x6s, they said $250. I even raised it up to $300. The difference was $3,000. The insulation, the best I could come up with was somewhere between $9,500 and $10,500. So I'm not real sure about why it would cost $27,000 extra to get a very, very above average built home with 2x6s with much more insulation, energy-wise, and then throw in on the top that our codes directors told us that basically he said we need to do it.
Any other
I
discussion?
think the majority of the problems with the conversation that we might need to explore more in detail is the 2018 International Energy Conservation Code section. So if we could, as a group, consider just removing that from the language, then we might be able to come into agreement on the rest of these codes, and then we can talk about that one in more detail on another agenda if we table that portion for tonight's meeting, so that we'll be able to move forward with the rest of the codes that we'd have no issue with.
That seems to be the biggest deal with this entire thing, is that one code there.
With that,
So if that's the will of the board, then Alderman Jones would need to withdraw his motion, Vice Mayor would need to withdraw her second, and then a new motion could be made to adopt with the exception of the code section that the Vice Mayor mentioned.
So ordered. I'd like to withdraw.
Withdraw.
and I'll go ahead and make that motion to approve on the with the condition of tabling the 2018 International Energy Conservation Code.
I'll second.
Second from Alderman No and Jones. Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
I vote aye. Second reading passes. Resolution 2020-07, a resolution of the City of LaVergne to appropriate funds to nonprofit organizations for fiscal year 2020-21. Need a motion to approve or deny?
I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Need a second.
I second.
Second from Vice Mayor Brown. Any discussion? Okay. Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Resolution passes. Moving on to the consent agenda. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Alderman Jones. Need a second?
I second.
Second from Vice Mayor Brown. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda passes. Moving on to new business. First reading ordinance 2020-08, an ordinance to amend the LaVergne Municipal Code by amending Title 16 by adding a new Chapter 5 entitled Moving of Houses, Structures, or Other Buildings, and by amending Title 12, Chapter 1, Section 12-103 regarding miscellaneous fees. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Alderman Jones. I'll second that. Any discussion? Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Number 8, first reading ordinance 2020-09, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2019-2020 general fund budget. Motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Alderman Jones. Need a second?
I'll second.
A second from Alderman No. Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
I vote aye. First reading passes. Resolution 2020-09, and a resolution authorizing the City of LaVergne to participate in the Interlocal Purchasing System, TIPS, Cooperative Purchasing Program. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Vice Mayor Brown. I'll second it. Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Need a motion to approve the purchase of SWAT headsets using the interlocal purchasing system awarded contract from Strack Incorporated. I'll make a motion to approve. Need a second?
I second.
Second from Vice Mayor Brown. Alderman No.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Moving on to number 11, we have appoint or remove committee members. The first one is the Economic Development Advisory Committee. The term for Eric Tudo Bainey expired at the end of June, and he does wish to remain on this board. There's no other applicants. We have been advertising this both on Facebook and on Channel 3. So I will put him back on that board. All in favor?
Aye. And thank him for his service.
Yes, he has been on there for a while faithfully. Moving on to B, Local Emergency Planning Committee. We've got 2 terms vacant on this committee, and we're going to put Chief Ronnie Beasley to the fire department position, and then we're still going to wait on that stormwater position for a new employee on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then last but not least, we've got the Senior Citizens Advisory Committee. We have 1 vacancy. Miss Amy Ivy Brown submitted her resignation, and we've advertised this on Channel 3 and on Facebook. We do have 1 applicant as well as 2 applicants from previous appointments. I'm going to recommend putting Jennifer Webb on there. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? With that, Mayor and Alderman comments. Alderman No.
I just want to congratulate Melissa Ann Joyner. I agree with everything they said. She exemplifies what a good citizen means in all of her volunteer work. Everything else about Fourth, David doing a great job. The board coming together and working on this energy thing. I think that was a good idea. Thank you.
Alderman Jones.
I too would like to congratulate all of our presentees tonight, and I look forward to working with the new fire chief. The other thing that I wanted to bring up tonight, I've checked with all of the point of contacts within the city. Chief Clark, Chris Clark, has, what is his new title?
EMA Director.
Okay. Director Clark has donated, was wanting to donate a piano that's been in his family for years. And I gave him a call, and he's willing to donate it to the city of LaVergne, and we're going to place it in the library. And I'd like to publicly thank Director Clark for his donation. One of his major concerns was he just wanted to make sure that, he was concerned about being able to see it since it was his grandmother's, and I told him that would be the best place. Door will always be open for him, and I'm sure Donna will open it on days, even if the library's closed, for him to come in and see it, if he needs to see it. I'd like to thank in advance David and the staff from the city. Once we figure out how we're going to get it over here and get it loaded and moved, and I'm more than willing to come watch, because I've moved a piano before and it's not fun. So I definitely I'll yield to some younger years than myself. And again, I would also like to thank the emails and the calls that I received from the citizens with the passing of my brother at home. And I'd like to thank everyone, and I do wish everyone understands why I wasn't able to make the ceremonies on Saturday. I heard that I heard it, and I heard that it went nicely. And the way that rain came down that night, I'm sort of glad that I was inside, because I heard it was pretty powerful. But again, as the chief has, the other thing that I'd like to say, to the chief, our new fire chief, Chief Beasley. The other thing that I'd like to say to him is, the people here, it takes a little time they grow on you. And the chief and I have already spoken briefly, and he's with him coming from West Tennessee, they're not gonna pull us all up here, but we got a place up here when we need to get up here. It's a fun place. It's a fun place. But again, welcome aboard, and thank everyone again for your prayers and your thoughts. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Just want to say that I'm really pleased about the way the 4th of July celebrations turned out. I was not here because it's a big moment in our family. My mom finally retired after years of dedicated service, and I wanted some time with her. And so I thank you for excusing me from being absent, but I felt like that was a pretty important milestone in her life. And I'm so thankful that everyone stayed healthy and there was no injuries in the storm or in the fireworks display. So that's a beautiful thing, and it's really nice to be able to bring our city together, even if we can't always bring our country together. So that means a lot to me. Thank you.
Well, first I do want to again extend my condolences to Alderman Jones for the passing of his brother. I want to thank Vice Mayor Brown for running the workshop last week, and I did watch it a few days later, but I was off with my bride for our anniversary. So thank you for taking care of that. Again, I want to congratulate all of our recognees throughout the night. And welcome aboard, Chief Beasley. I know you've already had boots on the ground, but welcome officially on board. Do want to thank our staff in the Parks and Recreation and Maintenance Department. They did an amazing job, along with our PR and communications team for Independence Day. That was live streamed. People were able to watch it from the comfort of their home, as well as get out. And a big thank you to the community for making sure that they properly distance themselves throughout that whole night. Do want to thank former Chief Clark for that piano donation. That's amazing. It's great to hear. Want to say we've got a great outlook, and this city is going to move forward, and we're pushing each day to make it a better place for everyone who lives here. And there's so much hope and optimism, so many wonderful positive announcements that are queued up to come, and we just have to be patient. And so I'm very excited, and I think you will be too as it all comes out. Last but not least, I want to thank Mr. Kyle Brown for being so responsible.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I'm going out of turn, but I left my paperwork, and if you could elaborate, or if Bruce or anyone could elaborate and let the citizenry know the Beacon report.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So the Beacon Center of Tennessee did a study on the 30 most populous cities in the state of Tennessee. They looked at multiple factors and ranked them by ultimately determining which cities are the freest. And through that list, LaVergne, Tennessee was number 1. So that is a huge kudo to our city. It's a recognition and accomplishment. I actually went to an event that night in Murfreesboro, and they specifically recognized that LaVergne was the freest city in LaVergne, is the freest city in LaVergne. We want to continue on that success and build upon it. And that was the first start of our good news, and we've got more lined up to start rolling out, some major announcements, and it will be good for everybody. So with that, call this meeting adjourned.